Hello to my beautiful podcast listener. This is Enzo with another edition, another hopefully metaphorical slap around the face to say, come on, you're living this life and it's up to you to go out there and get it. And you need to operate in the correct way, or a way that serves you best. I'm sick to the back teeth. It's a weird saying that, isn't it? That so many people, and I've done it in the past so many times, are underperforming, underachieving, and holding themselves back just because of the way they're processing things. And one thing that keeps coming up over and over again with clients and with drivers, inside motor racing and outside motor racing, is the lack of self-belief that people have in themselves. It's shocking. I mean, you have won that race, right? There was millions of sperms. You were one of them little buggers. And you won. You got to the egg. You got fertilized. You got born. Great grammar, Enzo. You got born. And now you're here listening to this and your ears are working. You have the sense. You can hear. And that is amazing. However, you can do all these things. You can beat the odds and you can be in this beautiful world now, if you want to call it a beautiful world, because it is, really. We just got humans going mad in it. But still, it's a beautiful world. And you still can focus, and we can all do this, still focus on how you are not good enough. Or you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you deserve it. How crazy does that sound, really, when we talk about it? The fact that you've come so far, yet you still do not believe in yourself. And there's one thing I really want to hit home today. And it's this simple rule, or this simple thought, or this simple belief, should we say, that it's no one else's job to believe in you. You have to believe in you. If you have got something in mind that you really want to achieve, you really want to overcome, you want to succeed at something, and you know that self-belief is a skill that you need in order to pull this off, then give yourself some bloody self-belief. You've done so many things in life that have worked out. Yet maybe, this is what people do, right? Because remember, it all comes down to what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on all the times that you've screwed up, if you're focusing on the what-ifs, like we keep saying, and the consequences, how the hell are you supposed to have self-belief? You have got to direct your focus more on all them little victories that you've had in the past. On all the times that you did succeed, no matter how small, no matter how big. And start stacking them little buggers up. Start to realize that you have got this one shot at life. And you know this, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But you've got to remind yourself this every single day. You have got this one chance. And you know that you have to believe in yourself. And it kills me watching all these people that are not believing in themselves, and then they're stopping themselves from taking the actions before they've even proved if they're not good enough. I want you to prove it. If you are so hell-bent on achieving that thing, even though you're not going for it, whatever it is in life that you want, then how about playing a little game? How about pretending that you can do it? How about acting as if you were someone who could do it? This is role-playing. This is role-playing in real life. And I'll tell you what, there's more people that do this, more successful people that do this than you can ever imagine. They have not, when they're small and they're on the way up and they're in the process of achieving this great goal that we know them for, they haven't got a chance, they haven't got a clue whether they're going to make it. They really don't know. But you know what? They act as if they do know that they're going to make it. They act as if they are that person who could achieve it. So I want you, this is why you always got to start with a goal. I want you to have this goal that you've got in life, that you've got in your sport or your career, whatever it is. I want you to see it every single day. I want you to keep that mind focused on the goal that's ahead. And why am I saying this? It's not just to give you motivation or anything like that. This is to raise your standard and say, right, if I'm going to go from where I am now to where I want to be, that huge goal up there, then what's the kind of person that I must be to pull this off? What's the standard I must hold myself to every minute of the day if I'm going to stand a chance? That's where the mind needs to go. Instead of focusing, like most people do, on all the shortcomings, all the reasons why maybe you can't make it, and you're flooding your mind full of these reasons of why you can't make it, there's no wonder you've got lack of self-belief. And you're listening to things that maybe your parents said back in the day, or people that took the mick out of you at school, and you're having them echo around the mind of making you feel like you're not good enough. I want you to take control of your self-belief. That's what I'm saying here. If you take control of your self-belief and start to direct your focus completely on where you need to go and the kind of person you need to be to pull it off, and you work on that 1 millimeter a day, you just grow a tiny bit. You just make sure that you beat the person you were last week, this week. And you know what? That's going to take you one step closer every week. That's going to build your confidence, your self-belief every single week. I'm not going to say every day, because sometimes you can have a day off. Sometimes you might not act like you should. But if you give yourself a week to make sure you combat yourself, if you give yourself a week to make sure that you leap forward towards that goal, then guess what? You're going to stay motivated. You know you can win that week. So direct the focus. If you find yourself focusing on all these things, or thinking about or dwelling on the past and what people have said, and even though it sounds like your voice that's in your head saying you're not good enough, but you know full well it's someone else's, it's just in your tonality. It just sounds like your voice, but really it's not. You've picked it up from somewhere else. If you can feel yourself doing that and you know you're doing it, then quit. Quit doing that. Don't quit on the goal, by the way. You just stop doing that. And you've got to be strict on yourself. This isn't a case of, Enzo, can you give me a magical trick so I no longer think of negative thoughts? Instead, this is mental conditioning. You've got to treat your mind like it's a naughty dog. Now and then it will think of a thought that's not helping it, that takes it down the path of depression, takes it down the path of loss of hope. So you have to kick it back into shape by showing it what to focus on instead, to create the emotions and the feelings and the focus that you want. Get good at this. As soon as you start to misbehave, or your head starts to misbehave and start to think of thoughts that are not really taking you or creating the mindset that you want, you give it a slap and you focus it, or direct it, straight back to what it needs to. This takes dedication. This is training the brain to think about things that are helping it, not hindering it. That's my rant for today. Again, it's a simple technique or a simple process, simple strategy, but it's the kind of thing that's going to help you behave in the way you need to and have that mindset you need to succeed. So just be really conscious. What am I thinking? If it's not helping me, get rid of it. Be very strict on yourself. Focus on the goal. Focus on who you have to be to achieve that goal, and get back in shape. Get back on the road that you need to get to. Because then you're a human being, and that means you can achieve nearly anything you want. Other humans have shown that they are just the average human, but they are achieving outstanding results. It has to come from them. They looked at where they wanted to go and they just walked that path. They kept walking it no matter what people said, no matter how much abuse people thrown at them. They stayed on course. That's what I want you to do. Train the brain. Be very strict on the brain. Be very disciplined. Feed it full of the thoughts that help it go forward towards the goal, and I promise you, you will not recognize your life this time next year if you do that every single week. You promise? Good. Speak to you next time.